Okay, now, from the beginning.
Greetings, hello, and welcome to the Dotcast. This is the podcast for wedding photographers, creatives, and business owners, brought to you by NineDots. I'm Andy Gaines, and we are super excited to have you here today. Here at the Dotcast, we dive deep into the world of wedding photography, creativity, and entrepreneurship. So whether you're an experienced photographer or someone just starting out on your journey, NineDots is here to help you on the way. From our online community, through our educational videos, awards, and in-person events like the NineDots Gathering, for almost 10 years now, NineDots has been dedicated to making you the best photographers and business owners you can be. You can find more about NineDots, the membership, and all the benefits of that, as well as our community and all our in-person events, down at the links in the description below. The NineDots community embraces and values a diverse range of all talents, experiences, and stories from the world of wedding photography. So whatever your background, experience level, or style, the NineDots community is the perfect place to grow and learn together. So check out the links in the description, and without further ado, let's get on with our episode.
I came to an area where I knew that their schools would be diverse. Because if I'd stayed in the area I was in, I know it wasn't going to be diverse. It was like quite heavily like Gujaratis, like Indians. Okay. And both my girls have got enough of that in their life anyway, with my wife's family being so massive, like cousins and all that stuff. So I wanted them to experience like everyone. And now, like, yeah, you know, my daughter's best mates are like, one's like Nigerian, the other one's like German, and it's like, yeah, and it's just, and it's so good. Like, you know, and these are like their two best friends that they walk home to school, and when we're walking together, they're holding hands, and like, I wanted them to be like with other people, you know, and understand their cultures, what they're about, and all that good stuff, really.
Yeah, that's really similar to how I grew up. So I grew up in Brussels, and so like Brussels is a bit of a melting pot of like literally you meet everyone. I had Albanian friends growing up, Moroccan friends. There's a lot of Moroccans in Belgium. Like I had a few Congolese friends, and it meant like growing up now, it means like there's rarely a situation I get into or I'm around different people where I'm like, oh, I feel out of place. Like I always feel like I'm going to find my people, because often like you can always find similarities with people and cultures and stuff. It's been tricky with my kids doing that, because we're in Canterbury, and Canterbury itself, town, is quite diverse, and our family and friends are quite diverse. But then when it comes to actual school, the school they're in is a village school. And so you're like, we have to do a lot more externally to make sure that there's still that influence of culture that I had growing up that they're not going to have as naturally as I did.
It is tricky. Even like with simple things, like I used to love like Diwali as a kid, right? And it's just like, because my parents were like, you know, because they're first generation, like from India here, they celebrated it quite heavily, and then we'd have all the family and friends around and stuff like that. But like now it's up to us to keep that tradition alive for our kids. Like we don't speak Gujarati like as much as our parents did. My older one sort of knows it because she was raised quite a bit with my mother-in-law, but the second one, because of COVID, she didn't really see my mother-in-law as much. Yeah. So she's proper, like, doesn't know anything. She's like, why do you speak Indian for? And I'm like, we don't speak Indian. This is the actual language is Gujarati. But like, it's so funny, but like it is up to us to instill it. And some of it takes work, man. Like we might not want to do a Diwali party, you know, because we don't want people around, because we know Christmas is around the corner. They're going to come around for Christmas as well. But it's just like, we got to make the effort, because otherwise they just won't know about tradition anymore. They'll just read it in whatever in RE in school, and then that's all they know.
The culture ends up sort of like melting down and dying, essentially. Like, you end up losing that as the generations goes on. It's a tricky one. I think I find because my parents are Nigerian, I'm Nigerian myself, but then even then I've been in Europe for like my whole life, so like that's already diluted massively. Like, and then with my kids and stuff, so I speak French as well, and that's one of the things. Like my wife's been like, mate, you need to be teaching them in French, but then it's so hard to like switch your brain to do that. Like, so when you're talking about languages, it's so hard to actually like, because I speak English all the time. That's just what comes naturally now, because I've been here so long. And then trying to actually switch my brain to, no, we're going to speak to them in French. And like, it's so much you have to teach them anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're adding this.
So let me just figure out how to get them to not like put their hands in their pants all the time. Or just random. It's a lot as it is. So
I think it's fun though, man. We're in a really fortunate position that we're able to show them all these like like different cultures and like what we do and what we were grown up with and stuff like that. Like, you know, I made it a massive point like 2 years ago. I took my kids to India, and the first 4 days, I was a bit worried that my wife would be really pissed at me as well. But the hotel I booked, it wasn't even a hotel. I don't know what you would call it, but it was like 28 quid a night. And but I was just like, because I was just like, there's none of this all-inclusive stuff anymore. Like, this is how, when I grew up, we used to go to places like this. And I wanted to show them like the kids on the street that don't have like basically anything to eat, are walking around begging. Like I wanted it to expose them. And my younger one didn't really get it as much. But my older one, like, she cried a couple of times and was just like, but I was just like, I brought you here because when you see me getting angry that you're leaving like 1 tablespoon of Cocoa Pops left and you're like throwing it in the bin, like, I go, that's not right. Because if I offered you a packet of crisps straight afterwards, you'd go and eat that. Or if I offered you like sweets, you'd be like, yeah, I'll eat the sweets or fruit. I'm like, but why are you wasting this little bit? And so like now, you know, when we came home now, like, she doesn't waste food like that. Or she'll tell people like, stop. But I don't think if I'd never taken her there, she would never appreciate like all of this stuff that she's like getting. So like the shock and the culture shock of like taking her to India was like a good thing in my opinion.
I love that. That's a really powerful life lesson, like to be able to get them. And contrast is so important because I think you can so easily just think, oh, everyone just lives the way I do, and this is like, the way I live is just the way everyone. But actually seeing like, oh no, there's a whole different side to the world where people don't have what you do or have access to what you have, and being able to actually live that way for a bit, just get a taste of it, like helps you be so much more appreciative. And I think for me, growing up, we didn't have like some of the stuff my kids do, like going to school on school trips and all this stuff. Like, like there's some stuff we didn't do that because my parents didn't have like my parents were focused on like making sure we were safe and looked after, and like we had what we needed. Like the extras were, if it happens, it happens. Whereas my kids is like that expectation, like, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And that is a blessing to get to that point because you want to do that. But also I think one of my fears is raising like kids who are, what's that word when you expect to get things? Entitled. Entitled. Yeah. Like I can't deal with that because it makes you ungrateful. And also I feel like you end up going through life not appreciating it and not being thankful, and you end up losing like the joy of the simple things. Yeah. Because you don't realize that everything you have is a gift. Like none of it is like you don't deserve anything. Like
exactly. No, 100%. Like I remember like when I was a kid, I cried and I begged my dad for an Atari ST. And when I'm telling you, I was like, dude, non-stop. Like, you know, I was begging, I do all the homework, I do all the house. For months, I struggled to get this, like, and then when I got it, like from Brent Cross, John Lewis, I remember picking it up. They had like this collection booth and I took it home and I wrapped it. Oh my God, I was so freaking happy. But like with my daughters, it's like, Dad, do you reckon I can have an iPad? Yeah, you know what? I think over COVID, I think you should get you one because you'll be reading eggs and whatnot. And then, do you know what I mean? Like, in a drop of a hat, you spend like 500 quid.
Yeah, just like that, boom.
And then I begged my dad for this £250 like computer, like begged and begged. And I know like the value of money was different then, but it's just crazy to think how much work I had to put in to get like certain things. Like I bought my own hi-fi system, like doing 3 paper rounds a day, right? For like 5 months or something. Wow. You'd get paid like £12 or whatever. But then when I saved up the money and I showed my dad, he was so like happy. My mum was still at work. She worked at Safeways or something. And he took us to Tottenham Court Road and I bought this like 3 CD changer hi-fi. And I like, I didn't have a CD to play. So then I like ran down like a mile down the road to Woolworths and I had like, and I bought Boys to Men, like Cooley Highway Hard. Like as the first CD ever. Yeah. And I was just like happy, but I was happy and proud. And my dad took me because he was like proud of like, this guy actually saved up, couldn't believe it, you know, for this like system. And was didn't even wait for my mum to come home. Was just like, yeah, jump in the car, we're gonna go now and we're gonna get what you want, you know. Yeah. But it's so hard, but trying to teach these kids this stuff, like, you know, I tell Amelia, like, you're only 2 years younger than me when I started my paper round. Like in 2 years' time, but the thing is, I would never send her up for a paper round either. Yeah, no. Like, if there was a news agent, I'd be like, nah, you're not doing that. So.
I didn't work so hard for you to be doing that.
So it's such a like, catch-22. But our parents, and this is the thing, right? Our parents came to this country, did what they did to allow their grandkids to do this, I guess.
Yeah.
And that is trickled down from that. Like, they wouldn't want us to be grafting the way they grafted, because then what was the point of coming here? Do you know what I mean?
True. Yeah,
like, they came for
nothing then.
Yeah, they came for the whole like, you know, next family and family after generations to like be comfortable. So
yeah,
that's why they worked hard. Like, because I don't think I could ever go to another country with like nothing. With the way my dad came with like a grand in his pocket or something, and like buy a house, pay off the mortgage, do all this stuff, take us on holidays, like crazy, like graft. And that was that, but that was their life, you know, like. I don't remember him doing homework because of that, because he'd come home at 7:30 and then he'd have dinner and then it'd be my bedtime.
So I remember one of my dad's jobs before we left for England, he'd do deliveries and stops and stuff. And so we'd finish school, he'd come pick us. So I would take and again, thinking back, this is so crazy, because I think I must have been it was in primary school, and I'd take all my other 3 siblings to school. I'd drop them off at school, then I'll go back to my school, and that was fine. And then we come back home, my dad he'll come pick us up on his delivery run, and then we'll go do deliveries with him. And that was just what we did. That was just our lives. And my parents were they were involved in the sense that they made us like, they made sure we had really good morals instilled into us. And like, they're Christian, I'm a Christian as well. So they instilled faith into us from a young age. That was a part of what we did. But in terms of like, let me take you to football, let me do you like those things, I remember begging for years to be like, I want to go to football. I want to like be part of a team and all that. That didn't happen until I was 16. So I'd be begging for all through primary school, most of secondary school. But yeah, so they did. My dad, they were involved in the sense of like, they really made sure like respect and discipline were instilled into us. But that was it. They did enough to make sure that you're going to do well at school and you're going to be a good human being. But sort of like social experiences, those are extras that you don't need. And like, you can do that when you're older and you've made your money, essentially.
Yeah, but also they didn't know about those things either, though. Yeah. Like, you know, like the amount of, that's what I mean. Like the bills that we have for the girls going to all these clubs, like gymnastics, drama, art. And I'm like, dude, I did like cello, but that was off my own back. And that was during the school, like, time. And it wasn't an extracurricular kind of thing, but I just carried on. Yeah, it was.
How do you one choose? How did you?
Don't know, man. Like I really love.
That's so cool.
I really love the sound of it, man. I did it for like 4 years. Yeah. I played it.
Nice.
I just love the sound. It was great, man. But
I love that.
Yeah, but I just got tired of walking with the cello to school, walking a mile here and a mile back, and I was just like, I'm done.
Yeah, that's
and then I just and I just gave up. But yeah, all these extracurricular things. Yeah, definitely. My parents, they didn't know what it was. You know, like. Is like swimming lessons and all that stuff. They'd be like, what? Like, we're like, yeah, you got to learn to swim, but I don't understand why they need to learn to swim, kind of thing. Sometimes I'm like, you know, I do, because like take them on holiday and I don't want them to drown, but at the same time, like, that's kind of essential. But people always are like, oh, like this is such a tangent, but they always think like it's a life skill. But I'm like, if you're anywhere near a boat or anything like that, you're always going to have a life vest, so you'll always be able to have some buoyancy. The only way that it could be super dangerous is that like you're walking by a pool or something and someone pushes you in and you don't know how to swim. Then yes, you know, my parents though, they just didn't think about things like that, which is mad because like, I don't know, did you have pressure to like go to like college and uni and stuff? Yeah,
there was no other choice. That there was no like you go to uni, like you're going to achieve. And my mom and dad wanted me to be a lawyer from a young age. We're like, yeah, I see that for you. I'm like, looking back now, that would be the worst job for me ever. Literally. Oh man, the amount of just depression, like, it would have ruined me. So I'm so glad I ended up, because I think once I came to uni, I started realizing like. Because I picked multimedia, I knew it wasn't like all my siblings are super academic. Like they're like, one of my brothers went to Cambridge, the others like they're all like in finance and doing incredibly well. And I'm just not that guy. I'm definitely more creative.
I'm not either. Yeah.
Like it wasn't that path for me. So, but yeah, managed to achieve decently in photography. So I'm glad.
Are they like? I'm sure they're super proud of you, but like, when did they start becoming proud of you? Because my mum and dad, like I can clearly remember when my my parents were proud of me doing the stuff on my own, which was when I got an office in Bond Street when I was like a graphic designer. They were like, oh, and they started telling all their friends and all their family like that. But up until then, they were still like, are you not going to find a normal job? I was lucky in the sense that like really bunker down on me being an accountant. They did let me do that because they had my brother that was doing that anyway. So maybe I got let off. Yeah, and, he was doing like ACA and all of that. So like, for me, I didn't have to. Yeah, so yeah, he was younger than me, but you know, he's fully chartered accountant, qualified and stuff like that. But like, I guess they had him, so they didn't. When I was getting older and older, they didn't like worry about what I was doing. But was there a point when you know they went from like, okay, they're not going to hassle you to be a lawyer to like, oh shit, I'm really proud of like what James is doing?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I can't really think.
Are they proud of you still now? You never know, man. Like,
I think they still want me to be a lawyer. No, I think to a certain degree, I think they're proud of the life I've built, I'd say, because they see our kids, they love the grandkids, and they love that, like, they love my wife and they love the life they've built around us. But I don't know if I can't say, I don't know for sure if I can say, oh, they're proud that I'm a photographer. I don't know if they say that with like pride. Like, so, because yesterday I got there's that photo mag listing. Yeah. And so my dad saw that and he texted me, he's like, oh, proud of you, son. And then sent me like a prayer of like, God's gonna do it. It was just, my wife and I always found it so funny because like, it's the Nigerian thing. Like you get the well done and it's like just prayer and scripture, Bible and something like, you could just say, well done, and I'm proud of you. And I'm really like, but yeah, it's just his way of saying I'm proud of you. So I guess yesterday was the first day. But yeah, I don't think, I don't really expect that from them. Like, I think they're just happy I'm living a good life. They probably wish I was some kind of big time accountant or doctor or something like that, but it is what it is. Like, it's never going to be me. So
yeah, let's talk a bit about photography. From where you started to like where you are now. I'm not talking about like from the beginning, from digital to moving to like way more film. Like, what made you do that?
Yeah, so for me, it was a kind of, I think I just got bored of just digital. So it was in 2021 when my first son was born. I knew I wanted to document a lot more of our lives, but I hated picking up the R6s. It's really weird. Like, up until then, I was shooting on 5D3. It was amazing. Like, that was cool. I found the limitations really annoying and focusing really annoying, but I was like, this is just is what it is. When I moved to the R6, it just made everything so easy. Like, so easy. To the point where you almost felt like you could go in autopilot because you know it's always going to get it. And I don't know why. And it's probably a silly thing to think, but for me, it just kind of, I lost a bit of like love for it. And I knew I wanted to be taking proper pictures. I hate taking pictures with my phone, so I never do it. So like, I knew I wanted to document his life. And so it coincided with a friend of mine just giving me some film cameras. His wife had passed away and she left some cameras. So he was like, oh, do you want to have these? And I was like, cool. I just left them in the cupboard for a while. And then I saw a friend of mine shooting film. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And just tried it and literally just fell in love with it. It was just an obsession that like built into, oh, this is something I can actually bring into my work. And it just made photography fun again. And it made me feel like a noob again. Like, oh, I have to think in a very different way. And I find that I need things to be interesting and engaging to keep me entertained. It sounds really weird.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense, man.
And film, for me to do it properly, I need to be fully engaged. I need to be like, my mind has to be on task. If I switch off, then the result, I'm gonna waste a roll or waste a frame. So yeah, just that made me want to do it. And also just the variety in it, like the different formats and how, like, with digital, pretty much if you're shooting an R6, a Sony, it's all the same thing. They're all the same. There's none of it really matters. But with film cameras, shooting a 6-7 camera is very different to shooting a 35mm camera, and just how each camera has a unique way of being that affects the results that you're going to get and makes you have to think differently as well. Shooting a 35mm rangefinder and I don't know, like a TLR, again, it's very different. And so it's just a really fun world to explore. And there's still so much more to learn. Like, I'm still feel like such a noob in it, but yeah. So that's a long-winded way to how I go into it. But
Yeah, no, man. What us as like creatives want, right? You want to be challenged and pushed. And like if digital wasn't doing that, then you found a new medium to basically do that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, it just makes it more fun. That's literally it. I just like things that keep me engaged and make me enjoy what I'm doing. Like I don't want to just, for me, it's not just about like gear is not important in terms of, oh, it makes you a better photographer or whatever, but it can affect your output and the way you think about the work you make. And yeah, film does that for me. So yeah.
How many cameras are you taking with you to like a wedding?
So it depends on how much film the couple have booked and stuff, and which of my film sort of options they've picked. But it's normally, I'll take 135mm. I'm normally shooting with 135mm and then one medium format, and then I've got my two digitals. I'm gonna drop on the digitals soon once I switch over, because I'm looking to get a 28-70, and that will kind of replace.
Game changer, man. I love that lens.
Yeah, mate. I've been fighting it for so long. Be like, no.
I only used to shoot one camera, one lens the entire year last year.
You see, I think I heard you talk to Rebecca about this, and I was like, man, like that would be so freeing to not have this massive 85 on the side. But yeah, so I think that's going to be the way. I think I'm going to hopefully try and get one before the season actually starts. But yeah, so just like I usually have the 35-85. Then I'll have a 35mm on me, and then I have a medium format in my sort of lens bag. And that tends to be what I do. I have like backups. So I have a backup medium format and a backup 35mm as well. Yeah. But it tends to be, so in total I'm shooting with 4 cameras on me on a general wedding day.
That's pretty mad. You definitely like the challenge then, because that's like difficult to juggle, man. Like,
to be honest, at first I'd be like, I started with taking one, and like I used to be like, I'm going to shoot a roll today, and it's going to be really. I get to the end of the day, and I've taken like 3 photos on the film camera, because it's just getting used to thinking in terms of through all those cameras and stuff, and using them on the day can be tricky to get used to. But it's like with anything, the more you do it, you get used to it, and I find like you start getting into a rhythm of, okay, this is how I like to use this camera, and I use it for these specific moments, and this is how I use this one for specific moments. So you just build a sort of your own rhythm and how it all fits together. And yeah, it is a pain because it is heavy, but I don't know. For me, I'm like because it makes it enjoyable for me. I want to be doing this job as long as possible.
Yeah.
If I just shoot the standard way I've always been, I'll quit in a few years. But this makes it more enjoyable, and I can see myself continuing to do this for a long time because of that. So, yeah. And couples like it, so yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to, the start of the day, like do you put in like an ISO 400 film and be like, okay, because you see the weather or something like that, and you're like, this is what I'm going to shoot, or like how do you load your films? Like talk to me like I'm an idiot, because I am. Like how are you making these choices? Because I always thought like, once you put one film in, then you are committed to shooting that roll.
Yeah. So I normally start the day with, depends on the venue. So it's made me do a lot more, be a lot more intentional about getting a feel for where they're getting ready, what the light's going to be in there. So, but in general, I normally start with an 800 speed film. Okay. And that just means it gives me a bit of balance, because I'm normally going to be indoors, like for getting ready and stuff. So start with that, and that just means that'll get me through till like the ceremony. If the ceremony is indoors, again, 800 is going to be perfect. You can get away with 400 depending on how bright the ceremony area is. Yeah. But it might mean that you have to like shoot, like be a lot more still and shallower, because your shutter speed's obviously going to go a lot lower. So 800 to 400 is the range I'm kind of keeping it in. And then as the day goes on, I'm usually shooting 400 because you're outdoors for reception and stuff like that. And then when it comes to the evening, I'm usually shooting like a balance of flash or pushing my film. So I'll shoot either cinestill pushed to 1600 or more, or I might use a black and white and push it. So that means you're rating it a step faster than it's meant to be, but then it just means I have to develop it a little bit longer. So there's like the way I kind of think of it with film, like until 2000, like that's all the photos that were ever made were made on film. So you kind of think like they managed to make it work. And so it's like, there are limitations, but you can make it work in any situation. You just have to like know what you're doing and like practice a lot and spend a lot of money and waste a lot of rolls, essentially. But
do your clients like, are you like, for you, are you now just like half off, or like or is it an add-on for film? Like a lot of people do add-ons, but yours is like, I feel like yours isn't an add-on. Yours is part of the package, or
So you get a role included,
Okay.
and then you can add on more. And most people will add on like basically anything between 6 and 14 is the max so far in terms of add-ons. But then I've got a couple. I've got one in August where they want all film, so I'm just shooting. That's going to
Nice.
be fully film, which will be really fun. I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, that tends to be how it sort of works. And it's one of those things where it's taken me a while to kind of find the right way to kind of include it and make it a part of what I do. And ideally, most of the people who come to me now, they want some kind of filmy sort of vibe. And so they're going to book a certain amount, which is quite nice. So it's rare now that I shoot a wedding where they've not like added on film essentially. Which is
for sure.
And even people, I think because it's become like so many movies like Sinners, like so many, I think Marty Supreme as well was shot on 16. So it's kind of becoming part of the way people see the world and see movies now. And so it's just like ubiquitous. It's just like, oh, you just assume, oh, this movie shot on film. And I think it's changing the way people perceive things and makes people that you'd think would never assume that they'd be into film become into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally, man.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just kind of how it works. I find the balance. See, I found like shoot the whole balance in film and digital is similar to me in terms of how you guys, because you do video as well, don't you? As
A little bit, yeah.
That to me feels like a much harder, like because that's a whole different medium and so many different elements to kind of balance. And I'm like, how does that work? Like, yeah,
I feel like with like hybrid, for example, there's more safety because you can add more cameras and you can just have them rolling from like 2 different angles. So like even if you were to mess up, you won't really mess up because you can capture from as a base, like from 2 different angles. I mean, not many hybrid people would do that. Like, you know, they normally use like 2 cameras only. Like, but I don't know if it was like more daunting for me to be doing film, like, because even on your all film day that you're going to have in August, are you going to actually shoot any digital at all, just in case, or nah? Even though they didn't request it, like.
Yeah, I've been toying with the idea of having like potentially just having a backup for maybe like specific moments, having a bit of digital in there, but I'm not 100% sure. I think I will probably have like a digital backup or have a second shooter for it who's shooting digital just to have that extra peace of mind. But I haven't had, because I check my cameras quite regularly and shoot them quite regularly. Like if something goes wrong, I'd know before the wedding because like I'm getting rolls sent off all the time because that, like I was saying, all my personal stuff is shot on film. Yeah. And so like if something were to go wrong, I would know before the wedding day. So yeah. So there's a bit of danger in there, I guess, but
I find it dangerous that you have to go to a post office and post those rolls off to a pharmacy or wherever you're posting them, you know?
Yeah.
For me, I'll be like, shit my pants. So
there's definitely an element of that in there. But again, that's part of, it sounds really stupid, but that's, for me, that's part
of the thrill.
Like, it's like, okay, it's got to get there, it's going to get there. And it takes you all the way through. Like, you get notifications as it's going through because DHL can pick it up from you. So then that gives you an extra bit of safety in knowing that, okay, it's with the same person and they'll let me know when he gets there and they'll let me know when it's at the depot. So yeah, you're kind of aware the whole through the whole stage. So
yeah, fairs.
We'll see.
Most of your weddings are like English weddings, right? So like So like, and most English ceremonies are quite short, right? Like there's vows, ring exchange. Yeah. So say like the first kiss or like certain things. Like, do you ask the client like, would you like your first kiss in digital or film, or do you make that decision?
Yeah, I'll always make that decision. Just because, I don't want their voices in my head for that bit because that would, I think that would mess me up. So I think the go-tos will be digital first for that moment, and then I'll get one on film if it's happening. If the kiss is long enough for that to happen. But normally it's like a 2-second thing. You're like, okay, I just about caught it on digital. But also depends on the couple. If I know, because you know when the first kiss is going to happen because it's going to be that introduction, or that warning. So I'll get ready and get it. But if it's a couple where I'm like, oh, these guys are obsessed with film, like they shoot it in their daily life, and it's just part of what they do, then I'll probably try and get it on film first. I just kind of tailor it to how into film the couple is essentially.
Yeah. Also, I guess on how close you can get to the couple as well, depending on the church and the priest and all that stuff as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You're sent to the back, then just what it is.
Yeah, well, because I shoot on Canon, my 35mm is a Canon body. I could just swap the lenses work across. Yeah, so I haven't switched to RF lenses because apart from the 2870 once I get it, but the rest I still got my Canon EF primes. So
yeah, man,
it's really easy.
You know, you're into like quiet moments and all of that stuff. Like, what was there like a time or a moment where you captured it and it changed how you like work from what you like used to believe in about wedding photography to like where you're at right now? Like, was there like a moment, or was there a wedding or something that changed?
That's a really good question. I don't know if there's a specific moment. For me, it's probably a lot to do with what I look at in terms of inspiration. So something I look at, I spend a lot of time like looking at Vermeer, the Dutch painter. Like, I love his work, and there's a street photographer, a Chinese street photographer called Fan Ho. His work is just like, you know, when you're like, you just see the world in a way that I wish I could take your eyes and your brain and put them in me.
Yeah.
Like, he's absolutely incredible, and I think seeing that work definitely has had a massive influence on what I'm drawn to. I still love like high energy big moments, because I think being Nigerian as well, like that, like
it's part of culture, man.
Yeah, that's it. It's very much a part of culture. So I do love that as well. But yeah, like I love sort of quieter moments of stillness where it feels like time has literally just stopped. And so yeah, that probably comes from, I think it was 2023, 2024 when I started getting into like studying sort of like Dutch painters and getting into Van Ho's work. That kind of had an influence on how I like to create. And it doesn't mean like my work is so far off being as good as that, but like the influences like slowly start to seep in, and they're kind of coming up a bit more and more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, man, I hear you.
So, yeah.
Because you change your style and like you are shooting at these, and people notice that you're shooting these quieter moments and stuff like that. Like, have you noticed your couples have like changed because they're now like from where you were before, and maybe you had more higher energy people, and now are you getting more and more like people that are a bit more like calm and considered kind of thing? Do you know what I mean?
That's a really good point. That's a really good question. My couples change. I don't know. I think I'm finding it's changed more in terms of the couples being more creatives that I'm working with. Like either they have creative jobs, or they're creative in their sort of personal life, and you kind of there's more of a involvement in the process. They care more about what you're gonna. It's not that saying other people don't care about their photos, but they care to a different degree, where they're really intentional about the fact that they've picked you for this thing that they've seen in your work, and that's what they want on their day, if that makes sense. Yeah. Whereas I felt before, it was more of like, you just like you're a wedding photographer, you take photos, your photos are nice, let's have you. You seem like a nice person.
You're not a dick. Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
Right. But in the price range,
yeah, that's it. It's like do I fit within their budget? Like, let's have you type thing. Whereas now I feel like there's less of that. It's more of a, do we click, and do you see the world the same way I do type thing? Yeah, but there's definitely been this. Yeah, so that's been the change I've seen. But yeah, that's definitely something I need to think about more, like trying to compare the difference. But also as the budget gets higher in terms of how much people are spending on their day, and it changes the kind of weddings that you shoot, and so they tend to interact with different people as well, which was an interesting one.
You're shooting more higher end weddings now then, like you think?
It's an interesting question. Yes, to a certain degree. But the higher end thing is it's always a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Because it's like high end does what it like was people. I
hear what you're saying. Like, I'm not talking like super duper like, people think I shoot high end weddings. I don't think I shoot high end weddings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
I think my weddings are like, yes, have a really decent sized budget, but I wouldn't class them as like the ultra high end where like the bride and groom have got shadows walking around, helping them around. All of this sort of stuff. I think there's a lot more like disparity as well between like, when people inquire with me, as soon as they get my pricing guide, they're either like ghost me or they'll be in touch.
Yeah.
There's no like, there's no in between anymore. I don't get like trying to haggle me, if that makes sense. It's
Yeah.
like they just ghost me, and if they ghost me, it is what it is. Like I don't lose sleep over it. You know, I get ghosted way more than I get people replying.
Oh, 100%.
Well.
Yeah.
You know,
ghosting is just part of life now. Like it just is what it is. Like it's very much just, I think it's just a cultural thing as well now. Like, because I don't think it was always like that. But then that might be because of what I was charging wasn't where I'm at now. And so like I was always within people's budgets that contacted me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I used to do things slightly different as well because I didn't have my prices on, and you had to talk to me first before you got my prices. And so it meant I got on a lot of calls, which was interesting. And wasted a lot of time.
Do you have your prices off now? No, on now.
So I have a starting, I have a guide price, and that's kind of there just because, like, I think especially since having kids and a lot older, like, just like I don't want to spend time like responding to an inquiry where there was never ever going to be, like, I was never going to be in the running because they could never have afforded me.
Yeah.
So I think it was last year I decided I'm just going to put it out there and then let people see. Yeah, we'll see what they do after that. Are you prices on or prices off?
Prices off. I've never had my price on the website. Okay. I've always been a thing of like, inquire with me via my contact form and stuff, and I'll send you like this awesome email back with all 4 galleries, and hopefully I can win you over and you love my work. Because sometimes, you know, you could go buy it to a car showroom and you want to buy one series of car, but then you end up buying another because you just love it so much, and then you end up making a want rather than like what you were. You'd like stretch your budget, you know. But so and that's why I've always like been like let me try and sell me. Like, don't get me wrong, most people now, before it used to be over phone calls, but nowadays, because the generation don't really want to talk to you on a phone, it's all by email. So I have a standard email and it just has my pricing, and if they read through it, they're either like, I love that email, it's so like comprehensive, or they're like, ghost me, and I'm happy with that. So it feels the industry's changed so much over the last like basically since COVID, like it feels like COVID was that line in the sand, and it's completely flipped on what used to mean something doesn't mean that anymore. And just, it feels like so much has happened. And it feels like it's changing so much faster as well. Oh, it's changing rapid, man. I mean, that world is changing rapidly. Too quick, in my opinion. Yeah. But like too fast, you know? Yeah. But that's the thing. Since COVID now, like I think like, you know, there's just a new generation of people coming through. And when I read about that stuff, like I do like reading about like, you know, their like human behavior and like traits and stuff like that. And they want things now. Sometimes I think, maybe I should put my prices on the website so they can just see it, because it's not like I'm hiding anything. The minute they send me an email, they're getting it anyway. But at the same time, I do want them to read my whole email and what I'm about. And then I have like 4 galleries there. So like for them to actually see that, and they're like, hopefully they can see the difference of someone that's like an open book compared to other people that are trying to sell them or upsell, or do you know what I mean? Or just all they see is their blog post and an Instagram, something like that. So this is like, I always think I loved it. Like I've always included 4 galleries in the emails and stuff. And I always think that's such a like helpful thing to do for me, for my peace of mind, knowing that, okay, like they've seen everything. There's I'm not like, if they've picked me, then they've seen everything I need to see. And I know that they're fully committed and sold into what I do. Whereas I think you always worry, like as a couple, if you don't see that, like you don't know who you're going to get, essentially, if you just go by someone. And no disrespect to anyone who does it differently and doesn't show 4 galleries or something, everyone issue their own and stuff. But I just think you put yourself in a position where expectations might not be met because they haven't seen your work across a whole day, essentially. But that's one of those things. Everyone has their own. It's just changing. Yeah, like I said, it's just changing too quick. The thing is that that's one thing I love about this job, though. It's like it keeps your finger on the pulse. Oh yeah, and I like the fact that it changes. Sometimes I do think it's changing too quick, but then at the same time, I'm like, I enjoy that. Like, you know, 3 months from now, we might have to change certain things up, and like something new will happen, or like it's the same thing with the trends and stuff like that. Like some of them are like I'm enjoying, and it's made me more freer, and I feel like a bit more creative in the last year and a half. And then other things I'm a bit like, that's shit, but people are getting away with it and charging like big money, and I'm like, that's mad. Expectations on photography must be low now, because if these are passing for like high-end editorial, then like, you know, Fair play.
Yeah, it has been interesting because because you got like NineDots for me was like, and it still is like that's like it's like I learned a way of shooting where it's like everything you do everything properly, and then like this sort of new iteration of wedding photography. It's like that's actually you don't want to do everything properly. You want to, and that for me, I still think that there's a beauty in kind of letting loose of some of the rules and kind of like just like being a bit freer with the way you shoot, but it's still that there's certain rules exist for a reason. There's a reason why you don't like if something doesn't need to be cut off. Like it feels like sometimes intentionality isn't always there as much nowadays. Like things are done really willy-nilly without thinking through your decisions and making it. And I know sometimes I do that, so this is not me kind of put myself in a pedestal and stuff. But yeah, it's really interesting just how that's like. There's like there's a time where like everything had to be a certain way and perfect, and now it's just like the people who are kind of charging the most are the ones who are ignoring all those rules.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's really interesting seeing that difference.
It is crazy. Like, but I like think that you people should learn all the rules and then like learn to break them. But I feel like some people don't know the rules, and so they're just doing their own thing, and like which is each to their own, and like fair play, they're getting the money and they're getting booked, and you know, and some of their work is amazing. But sometimes I look at work and I'm like, oh man, like on a flip though, like the documentary side, when it was like things had to be perfect and lined up, and like if you're trying to do like I never really got into like layering, but if you're trying to do all of that stuff, then it had to be a certain way. But then I thought that was a bit too much as well. Yeah.
How did you find what made you, because your style, your work has changed a lot, I feel, since like, well, it's changed a lot, but also like the elements that made you are still there in terms of like your flash work is like unmatched. Like it's on a different level. Like also just your portraits insane, and still your documentary work is still incredible. And the moments you captured, like just so many moments that I can think that stick in my brain of yours. I'm like, man, I wish I want to get a picture like that. So like, but you still adapted to this new world. And so how have you done that? And also what made you want to make those changes?
Yeah. Well, like I said, like I saw some of the stuff in the trends and I like kind of enjoyed some of them, and I like look at them and I'm like, actually, they look quite nice. One of the reasons though, in the beginning, was literally like the fact that I love this job. I can't think of anything else I want to do that's going to give me this freedom to be with my kids. Yeah, so, you know, if I do 80% of what I like and then 20% of like whatever people expect of me or like whatever the trends are, I'm happy with that. Like, you know, that's a little piece of the pie for the devil. Like, fuck it. Like, do you know what I mean? But I'm still getting to like earn money doing this, still getting all this like freedom, getting to raise my kids, like being so involved. Like to me, that far ways out being like, you know, stubborn and being like, oh, I'm not going to do like a tilty portrait or something. I don't do tilty portraits, by the way, because I fucking, but I'm just saying like, that's one rule that I can't break, man. Like, I just can't break it. Like, but, you know, like, but I would do it. Like if it became such a massive thing and like, you know, I'm not too big for like not doing it. Do you get me? But I did change a few things. Like I changed my preset. I made things a bit lighter. I just opened up the shadows a bit, really. But I still feel like the stuff I show like on Insta or whatever is still like, if you look at a whole gallery of mine, it's still the same that I've always been. And like literally 90% of the gallery is still like really beautiful family portraits, good normal couple portraits, good like candid natural photos. Do you know what I mean? Like it has that solid set. And then there's like 10% of this, like what I'm showing on Instagram, like artier stuff now, or a bit of a blur or whatever I'm doing. So, but I've enjoyed making that. Like I have enjoyed like the freedom of not always shooting off camera flash because it got boring, you know, always setting up 4 flashes and like, it's the same. Like for you, like with like digital, it was like, I know that, okay, in this room, I'm going to set these 4 flashes up and I know exactly the images I'm going to get. And the only thing that is going to change are the people now. And like, if the people do something crazy, then I'm going to get a better photo than I did at my last wedding. Otherwise, if they stay the same and they react the same way to the speeches last week, it stays the same. But now it's like, I can be like, you know what, I might just do some natural light instead. And I might just set up 2 flashes. And actually, I might just do on-camera flash for a lot of it. And I think the couples have changed as well. Like they now bring their own like vibe. Like before, I think most, I sound really old maybe or whatever, but most people were like the same, or the couples I was shooting were all the same sort of personality trait. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like same kind of vibe. But now everyone is like trying to be different and having their own vibe.
Yeah.
So you can match like, okay, I'm going to do some on-camera flash portraits for this couple because they really suit that vibe. Some couples don't suit on-camera flash portraits as far as I'm concerned. Do you know what I mean? Like you do it and you're like, dude, this is dead. Like, why are we even?
It's not working.
It's not working. I'm gonna have to switch back to like, you know, cuddly and whatever and shooting through stuff. But it's good because we know how to do that stuff. You know, we can mix and match and we can adapt.
Yeah, I think this is something that I've started to really think about in terms of adapting your approach. It doesn't mean you change your whole style completely, but you're adapting your approach and even the equipment you use to the couple in front of you. Like for some, so I find. This is a really random one, and this might just be me, but I find a 28mm is a really dynamic lens. Like I feel like I love using it for couples where I know it's going to be high energy, and these guys are they're going to be on it, like just bringing so much energy. You're going to be running through the day, like there's going to be a lot of wild, big movements, and so 28 for me suits that kind of day. Whereas a 35 I find works really well for couples. Maybe it's a bit of a quieter, it's a bit stiller. It's still really lovely and beautiful, but like everything is a bit more structured, if that makes sense. Like, and like that change for me it just makes even your gear more interesting, and it brings that, because I think if you want to be doing this for like, I want to be doing this as long as possible. Like I want to be like in my 50s and still shooting weddings ideally. So I think part of that is making it interesting and finding new things and doing things differently and changing things up and like being open to new ideas and thinking about things differently than you would normally do, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And the biggest thing is like, if you want to do this in your 50s and stuff, is you want to stay relevant.
Yeah.
You can't become that grumpy old man.
Yeah.
You know, which is like, I do this only this way. And like, do you know what I mean? Like when I first started Indian weddings, it was like a photographer that used to sit down like on a chair, like he was an older guy, you know, in front of the mandap and shoot weddings that way. And it was just like, you don't want to be that guy. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But that's cool. You know, because he's got such a legacy, I guess, or whatever, or not legacy, reputation, such a good reputation. You know, people keep booking him, but your days are numbered when you start doing things like that and you're not adapting, moving around or whatever you're doing, right? Like, and that's one of the things, like, to stay, well, I really feel like to stay relevant and not to be grumpy is like staying in tune with like the culture and what's happening as well. It's like, it's all mixed together now. It's not just like, you know, so you want to keep one eye like on like what wedding photography trends are and stuff, but then you can pick and choose whether you want to use them or not. Or like I obviously love like music, and so like I keep tabs on what's good and what's not. But then if I didn't know some of that stuff and like a beat dropped at a wedding reception, I might be like, okay, maybe I can go to the toilet now quickly. There's like 5-minute break or whatever. Like this track's not be any good. But because I know them, I'm like, oh shit. Then I'm like, let me find the bride and groom or whoever's like the most hyped on the dance floor, you know, and like, but otherwise I wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I don't want to switch off like in that way.
Yeah, that's a really good point actually. Yeah, because you end up losing those cultural threads that end up feeding into the day. You end up losing that because you're like, well, I've got no idea what these people listen to because they're so much younger or whatever. Because that's the thing, the couples, as we get older, the couples are getting younger and younger and younger. And so like, yeah, you want to be able to still have your foot in their world, to be able to document them in a way that makes sense for them and get the photos that are going to mean something, that say something about them that's true, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you want to stay relevant with them, but then at the same time, I like in my head, I'm like your dad, and I'm like, I'm going to get you certain photos that you might be like, what? But in like 20 years from now, they'll be way more important than these photos that you're like thinking are like really good right now. Like I make it a big point, like when I'm shooting weddings, like when I'm doing groups and stuff like that, that they look good, that they're like positioned, everyone's positioned like carefully, and like you can see everyone, especially when it's like chaos in an Indian wedding and like, you know, everyone's fighting for space or whatever. But like, because I know that these photos will become important, like, you know, 20, 30 years from now. Whereas me doing a blurry photo on the dance floor is whatever. Like, that's going to get me my next booking and people might love that. But it's a bit of both, like mixing. And that's what I love about like this industry, right? Like, because it changes in this way, it keeps us on our toes. And, you know, I'm not just like in one camp of like just doing documentary or just doing portraits. And stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
I want to do like a little bit of good in all of it. Might not be a master in any of it, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But I love the changes of like pacing and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I'm so with you on that. The kind of, because I think there was that pressure. You have to be, if you're a documentary photographer, you ain't touching portraits, and you hate portraits, and you know what, or you definitely don't do details, because like what details, they're not important. But actually, the longer I do it, the more I'm like, actually, all of it is important. The portraits are important because for some couples, this is the only time they're going to get on their day to kind of just like catch up on, hey, we just got married. What's happening? Like, how are you feeling? But also, like, having that time to take beautiful photos that show the two of them, like, just being themselves. That, for most people, they're not going to have other photos than that. You might do a family photo session here and there, but that's probably it. You're not really going to have really beautiful photos of the two of you. But then also for your kids, being able to see you two all in love and like having a good time and together, I think is really important. Like I love the photos we only have a few photos of our parents' wedding, but seeing them young and happy and together is just such a nice thing to see. So that is valuable. But also details, they've thought about this. They spent a lot of time thinking about this specific thing and this table setting, and that's the vision that they had. And so like once the set down's done, that's it, that's gone. So the pictures are anyway that they're going to have a memory of what it looked like. And so again, that has value. And the documentary moments have value because it tells a story. So all of it is important. I don't think, and again, no disrespect if you're someone who does the solely documentary, I think that's incredible. But I think all of it is important. It's not just one thing that,
I think that's how I feel like all photographers think. Like that's how I assume that all photographers think. It's just that they just don't talk about the details and stuff like that. Like I'm sure editorial people do just as good documentary photos as well, but you just don't see them.
It's
they
not
have a second shooter, and they might be doing all this candids and all of that stuff, you know. But you only see like what they're showing, and people are like, oh, like they're the photos they got. But really and truly, they could have like this amazing like second shooter that's just doing all the candids and documentary work, and you know, so they're getting like a full array of it. That's what I believe, because you're getting paid that much. Like
you must be.
they've got to be doing something. Like
that's true.
The one thing I would sacrifice in the whole wedding, to be fair, and I do sacrifice a lot of times, is the details. Though I really like, and it's not because they haven't spent all that money. Like I shoot details more because like of the planner now, or like the decor company. Don't even care about like whether the couple get those detail photos or not. Like they get them, but it's really literally more to like network with vendors, because if I'm shooting details like inside a room, but then like drinks reception's going on outside because that's the time that this room is like finished getting set up, and I started hearing laughter and all this stuff, then I'm like, oh my God. So I'm really quick with like details. So literally like 2-3 minutes of my time, because I'd rather be out there where the action is and not missing stuff than shooting like flowers and stuff. And I always think like when I'm shooting weddings, like receptions or something, I am shooting like wides as well as close up. Like I'm not just shooting one length, and the 2870 definitely allows me to do that really quickly. So you do get to see like what your flowers and stuff like that were like at your wedding. Yeah, granted, it might not be this like beautiful photo, but then they're never gonna like print.
They're not printing that,
or like putting it in an album, right? Like I've never had anyone like put decor photos in an album.
That's a fair point.
So.
I think with those, it doesn't have to take the whole day, but just making sure that it's part of the coverage, like it's there, they feature somewhere, I think is important. I'm not going to spend an hour trying to do a dress photo and stuff like that. And discourage the whole hanging dress thing, because I always take too long doing them. I'm just like, it looks much better when you have it on anyway. So let's let's get you wearing it. But so I totally agree with you. It needs to be, there's more important things, but I think it's making sure that it's still happening. Like it's there in some way.
It's and like you said, like it's just picking and choosing like battles, to be fair. Like flat lays is a big thing, right? And like a trend. But I've never done one. I don't shoot them. Like, and I've never had a bride ask me for them, like ever, because they just never seen it in my work. And if they did ever ask it, I'd be like, well, I don't really know how to do them. Have a bridesmaid or someone that like decides to like lay it all out nicely somewhere. Here's a nice spot I would suggest. The light seems quite nice. I'm happy to take photos of it. You know, like that would be my response if and when I ever get asked. Who knows? I might get one this year.
That's you might have a year of flat lays. Just
no, I would never do that, mate, because I've made this mistake. Okay, so when I first started weddings, I loved fucking ring shots. Like, People were using 100mm Canon macro, getting these like amazing ring shots, like shooting through. Susan Stripling was one of those people that was like showing these things. And I was like, oh, I bought that lens. I showed 2-3 weddings of doing that. And then after that, the next 5 weddings, I was like, are you going to take my rings? And I'm like, you're dealing with people's rings for a start. As well, right? Like I always made sure there was like, when I returned them, there was like some sort of witness. Like, be louder. Like, here's your rings back. Like, everyone started asking for them. And I was just like, you know what? I got that photo out of my system, so I didn't want to do it anymore. And then I went back into like my like Facebook page at that point in time. It was only, I took down those ring shots, I took it off my website, and then never no one ever asked for them again.
That's such a, I remember there was a point where you had to have that ring shot. Like I don't think I've taken one in such a long time. Like actually
no one does them anymore now. I don't think so. Maybe we should bring it back.
Please don't. That's the detail I'm happy not to photograph. They're going to have it on their hands their whole life, man. So
exactly. That's exactly it. Like I used to say that as a joke when they'd be like, Judge, will you take photos of our rings? I'm like, why? You could just look down at it at any point.
Yeah, literally.
Like, but I don't know. It's weird. Like, it is like show what you want to shoot kind of vibe. Like we say that in our workshop, man. Like, if you sit there showing people with their dresses hanging or like, people are going to ask you for that because they've seen that and then they're like, I really love that. But if you take that down, like I used to do that, but now I like stopped doing all of that stuff as well. I just like try not to show any of that stuff anymore.
Any bits that you're like, I don't want to be doing that anymore. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's funny now, like I don't know, like on Instagram and stuff like that. I really try to just show like a general atmosphere of the day. Like that's what I'm trying to show, like the vibe. Yeah. Such a wanky word now, the vibe, like, but it is what I'm trying to show, like a general, like before I used to try and tell a story in my like carousel posts or whatever. Now it's just like whatever, but it's just like to get a sense of like what that day was like.
Yeah.
That's like how I show things.
That makes sense. I feel like with Instagram, it's very much I see it as like you're just fishing and putting a bait out there.
Yeah.
To kind of latch onto to then show them the full gallery. So it just needs to be not necessarily. I think I use it in a way where it's like, I just want to give you a feel for this is how I photograph, right? This is how I see the world. Yeah. And hopefully you click with that and then you'll come to me and inquire and book me type thing. So because trying to do I don't know how much if people had the attention span to be able to like care so much about like every single moment. And that's why I feel a blog is a good thing to do because you can kind of show a bit more. And maybe you kind of show a bit of the general story of the day and still in a condensed number of photos. But I feel like Instagram is just eye candy, essentially. Like
that's what it should be.
Yeah.
The front of your like shop window kind of thing, like front window shop, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just to claw or drag people in and be like, oh, I really like this photo. Like, let's like check them out. And then they could have a quick look at other photos and then hopefully they inquire. Like that's its only use.
Yeah, very much so. I think, because I used to think kind of like with Instagram, like you want to be getting like because I've never had like a big following on Instagram, but still so many of my inquiries come through there, and so it's like I feel like a lot of it has changed in terms of the way what works and what's doing, and I think it's literally just been very intentional about showing the only things you want couples to kind of you want to be doing again that couples are going to kind of react to and then be drawn to you through, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think like the following count and all of that stuff of Instagram is like means nothing anymore anyway.
Yeah.
Because most people see you, like you end up on their Reels page or their FYP page or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so, and a big one, like, and the best thing that they've ever done has had that collaboration feature. Like,
that is incredible.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just so good. Like collaborating with everyone, like the couple, and then like, and a couple of vendors that you think are like heavy on like socials and stuff like that. I think like that has been a massive game changer of a way to like really get your work shown to other people, and it generally is going to be shown to like people in the same sort of social financial circle. So that means that like it'll be their friends that can afford you as well, rather than like just randoms that would get to inquire with you and you're way out of their budget, stuff like that.
It's like, to me, it's like one of I think it is, like you say, the best tool that they've put out. Like it makes like my kind of interactions with my account go up so much over the summer when I'm collaborating on every single post, like, and then it goes all the way down tanks like winter when it's like a bit quieter and stuff. But it makes such a difference. I think because oh, you know, the whole like January, February rush and stuff. That's never really been a thing for me. Particularly in the last couple of years, it's the summertime where most of our bookings kind of come. Like,
Oh, really?
when I'm shooting, yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
It's really random.
No, that's good. It's pretty good. It is random, but I've never believed in like, you know, when you get those like influencers like trying to teach you wedding photography and stuff, and they're like, oh, it's like booking season right now. Like that's just been BS to me all the time. Like, I've never like I've always booked weddings in like September, October as well.
Yeah.
So generally, when people were like, now the trends changed. Like people are booking way more closer to the time, but when it was like September, October, I would be like, I'd know where I'm at for like next year, like 60, 70, 80%. And then I'd get a few in Jan, like and then a few last minute ones, right? And then that would be the year done. But I've never had like the influx in Jan and Feb. Like I've always worked my Instagram and all my work as if like I still need bookings all the time. Does that make sense? Like,
smart.
So like, it doesn't make a difference. Like, you know, for this year, for example, I don't really need a single booking anymore, but you know, I'm still post as if I want them. Like, you know, smart. Because I don't want to like be complacent either and then like drop off the grid. Yeah. So I just still like, and it's good for like habit and routine. Like has all those things in it. You know what I mean? Like if I stopped just posting now on Insta because I'm like, oh, I'm done for this year. And like 2027, I'm not really worried about until later on anyway. Like, I'll just become lazy. Yeah. So it's like, it's nice to just have that workflow. Like, you know, I do it as and when. Like before, I used to be so militant with like Instagram. I used to like schedule. We watch a Netflix film. I used to talk about it maybe not on the podcast, but maybe from before, like in my workshops, that like, you know, I used to put a film on and then like schedule like the next like 80 days. And it would just be like one photo.
That's impressive.
It was like, but what I was doing was like putting like one word and like hashtags and just like a photo. Okay. It was not like, you know, it'd be like movement or portrait or whatever. Like it was so dumb, but it was just to like keep the Instagram, just like keep thingy. Yeah. But now it's like, you know, I post once or twice a week. I get more active on my stories, but then post once or twice a week, and it seems to be good enough. Like, I don't feel like I need to, you know, spend ages and ages like how I was before. In fact, it feels like it's got a bit easier. But like you said, like I post more obviously during the summer months when it's like busy, because I've shown my previews, like they get them on my Instagram first anyway. So it's like, so it does the work then, the heavy lifting over that time. Yeah,
that's a smart way of doing it in terms of like couples being able to then like that excitement. You can't beat that in terms of them being able it go far and wide and them sharing, and then they're going to extend the collaboration as well, because that's the post, that's their first wedding post essentially. It's a really smart way of doing it.
I do two things at the same time. Like I send previews, so they have like 100 previews or 80, whatever the number is, right? But then at the exact same time, I just post like 20 of my favorites on Insta as well. And sometimes they check Insta before they check WhatsApp, so
fair.
They just see whatever, but they do get to see more. But you know, they always accept the collaboration, and they're like, and then that's how we know. That's how we market, right? Like,
100%.
There's I don't know. It works. It's a tricky one though. Instagram, like the algorithm is forever changing. I was getting like loads of views before. Now I'm getting like hardly any views. But then I don't know whether it means anything or not, because you know I'm still getting inquiries trickling in. So it's like, you know,
I feel like until the inquiry rate changes, that's when you're like, oh, okay, something's going wrong. But if it's not changing, then you just
I mean, I've never kept stats or data on that, so I've just I've never done that. I'm very lazy in that sense.
I have. I say I keep it in my head. I don't know if the number's accurate at all, but it's somewhere in my head. I know what's happening. I have like a general feeling. But it's one of the things where like I'll listen to people and like they'll have like spreadsheets. And I'm like, man, I wish I was that. But I just find that stuff so boring. I'm like, I'm just going to go and feel. And if I just keep working and I don't take my foot off the gas, then stuff is going to keep coming in. And that's what I need to do.
Did you say you're just going to work off fear? Yeah.
So
did you say you're just going to work off fear?
I did say that, but that is what I do.
That's what I do. I do exactly the same thing, man. And honestly, I just get a general sense of like, or the vibe of like how the year's panning out. I don't actually have stats or data. There's, I don't know, everyone's got strengths and weaknesses in certain places, but I do not care about that stuff. Like I don't have a CRM, so I don't have like inquiries coming in and all of that stuff. I don't have any of that.
How'd you keep a track of it then?
Google Sheets.
Damn.
Yeah.
And that works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
See,
I mean, like
I've
Google Sheets. I only do like 20 weddings a year though. So like,
okay, that's fair. That's
yeah,
fair.
it's not.
That's fair.
It's not like not manageable and that. And even when I did like 38 one year and then COVID time I did 40, it was still on the Google Sheets. Like I didn't really, you know, I don't know. I just fill out the stuff. I know there could be like smarter ways. I could use the AI now. I can automate certain things. I do automate like the invoices like via Xero and like Zapier, but the rest of it, like, yeah, I just keep a track on there.
Yeah, that's fair. If it works and you got a system that does what you need to
proper
do,
old
then,
school.
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I just like
That's so funny. I love that. But I think I'm pretty sure I've got another friend who does a similar thing, and it's just the system that he's used and it works for him. And like the kind of the pain of changing it all is so much faff that you're just like, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. Well, if it's working, then why change? So
I'm sure once I'm changed, I'll be like converted to be like, oh my god, CRM is amazing.
I should have done this all those years ago.
Yeah, but like, you know, like I don't know. So when I ask for my balances and stuff like that, like I just do it off like, oh, their wedding's in like a month. Let me just email them now. Do you know what I mean? Like in my contract and everything, it says you need to pay me 3 months before. But I'm just like, I just do it as and when. Then I have a lot of trust in my couples. I don't feel like they're going to go anywhere. So I'm just like, hey guys, how's it going? And also, I think they like it because I look good because I'm not so rigid. I'm not like, it's not a formality. It's not like, oh, by the way, today is your 3 months notice and like you need to pay me this or I'm not turning up to your wedding kind of vibes or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's more like, hey guys, like, sorry, I should have sent this like a couple of months ago, you know, been super busy. How's the wedding going? Blah, blah, blah. Do you mind if you just settle this balance? And they're just like, oh yeah, Rahul, like, we're going to do it. Do you know what I mean? Just like, just keep it chill, basically.
Yeah. I think that like, I feel like that whole vibe ends up feeding into the day as well. Like in how they interact with you, because then it's a bit more relaxed because they know that you're not just like a business who's there to do a job and disappear, but you've kind of built a relationship where it's a bit more on the friend side, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, yeah, everyone works in different ways, man. Everyone works in different ways and everyone's got things that work for them and not work for them. And that's what I like, you know, like being in NineDots, whatever. Like sometimes I hear other people say, oh, I do this. I'm like, oh, actually, that's a good idea. Or like, I remember once, like when I was doing this podcast, like, I think it was Chelsea or someone had like this question of like, why did you kind of book me? Or like, what was it about my work? And I'm like, oh, that's such a good question. Like, cause then when you're talking to them or like, what, not why they book me, well, then when they're inquiring. So then when you're talking to them, like you can be like, oh yeah, I am like this and I'm like that. And I do this exactly what they basically said to you. You're like saying it back.
Yeah.
Like,
you're mirroring.
Yeah. I'm like, damn, that's pretty clever. So like, you know, like I'll change certain things like, and whatnot, but until it's broke, you know, why try to fix it kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I think like most of it just comes down to like hard work and just like I said, you know what gets most people, in my opinion, is complacency. Honestly, it's massive killer of people, man. Like, because people are busy over summer and stuff like that. So then they take their foot off like social media or they take their foot off blog posts and they think like doing 20 blog posts in January is going to help them. But it's just like, it's not, because it takes like at least 2-3 months for Google to embed it and for you to go up anyway in the rankings. So maybe for the year after, you'll be all right again. But for the year coming right now, like, you know, if your inquiries are down and because you stopped blogging and you knew blogging was like a thing that helped you get inquiries, then, you know, it's kind of your fault. Yeah. Sounds harsh, but
it is. But I think it's almost like I think it's a kind thing to kind of realize that, or I think it's a good thing to realize that a lot of it, there's so much more in your control than you kind of realize. Because if someone else is, like my dad always used to tell me, like, because I've always been rubbish at maths, but particularly at school, I hated maths. And he was like, the people who are doing it well, like they don't have two brains. They're the same as you. You just have to work hard. And like I feel like a lot of doing well in this game is like being stubborn, and also being open to this. Like if someone is doing something well, like figure out what they're doing. Like ask, book a course. Like the amount of knowledge available is actually insane.
So much.
It's like there's all the knowledge is out there. Like literally all the information out there to do well in this is out there. It's just finding it and putting it into action. That's the other thing, is actually doing implementing the things you learn. But we have so much in our favor, and people who are less talented, who are just not even like, who maybe don't even care about the craft of photography, are doing so well, not because they're great photographers, but because they're marketing themselves well, or they've learned the skill marketing. And it's a skill that anyone can learn essentially. But yeah, it's just that actually don't get complacent, don't get what's it called, entitled. You're not entitled to success, or doing well. It's something that you earn by working hard and like putting in the graft or putting in the time essentially. But
yeah. Mic drop on that one, man.
Yeah,
you're right.
Might get cancelled for saying that.
No, don't be silly. But I agree, man. And you know what? Like, to bring it back full circle, but these are the values that were taught by my parents. Like,
Yeah,
you're gonna fucking have to work hard for this shit.
Yeah.
Like, it is that. Like, I saw my dad working hard every day. My mum working hard, like in Safeways or whatever, and then coming back and doing all this stuff. Like, they instilled that in me, man. And and that's one thing that I really want to like instill into my kids. Like sometimes I wish we didn't have like social media for our news because like I said, I wouldn't let my daughter go and do the newspaper round, but maybe I would if it was still a thing and they could go and there was like people wanting it, like like what I don't know what jobs they can get at like 12, 13 years old now. Like whereas we had paper rounds. I did a milk round as well for like a year, 2 years, like help the milkman like deliver milk and stuff like that. Like
nice.
Those sort of jobs. Like because you were allowed to work from like when you were 13, but
I don't know
these
what.
news agents, they just they would hire you whenever you walk in and say, "Do you have a paper round for me?" And they're like, "Yeah." So
just get them a second shoot for you.
I can't have my family around me, man, when I'm working.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I like the separation.
Yeah, you want that.
Respect to all the couple photographers out there and all those people, man. Like that life is not for me. It's not for me.
Why not?
I just like the separation. I love like sometimes I feel like going to a wedding is a break for me, man. Like from like all the kid stuff and everything like that. Like it's like you get it's my own space and I don't need someone else all the time in that space with me. Like I don't want to like having to babysit or whatever. Maybe I'm not saying I would have to babysit if Nate came along, but I don't know how it'd be, but I don't want to test it out either.
It's not worth it.
It's not like I'm very like, oh man, not selfish. What is it like when you're just like, I'm a bit of a loner and I always have been because like when it comes to business, because like, I never worked for a company or anything. I've always been on my own. So I've always just do things on my own. I only want to answer to myself. And if like things go wrong, I have myself to blame. If things go well, I have myself to congratulate. Like, I don't want to be like mixing. It was weird when we started NineDots when there was 4 of us and now there's like 2
that
of
must
us.
have been there.
Yeah, it was weird because it's all 4 of us. I think we're always that same like mindset. Do you know what I mean? And then doing that in the beginning was like tricky, but doing it now with Andy is like so simple, man. So like we're both like just as chill as each other. But I never thought I'd have that business. But I've always been like a bit of a like loner in that sense, like independent is the word. Independent.
Yeah, independent. It feels like loner, because you got quite a big social network. Like you got a lot of friends. So I feel like loner. Like you can't be.
Yeah, but I'm talking about when it comes to my work, not like my like family and like friends' life, but like when it comes to my work, it's even like things like. It took a long time for me to get used to like Nate just being at home because before I used to sit on a desk, I'd have like these 2 monitors. Like I'd be like, right, it's time to edit. What am I listening to? What album? And it'd be like loud, and it'd be like a party, and I'd be like editing. You know what I mean? Now it's just like I have to wear headphones and like listen to her talk, her on her calls and meetings, or go to my daughter's bedroom and do like these podcasts or whatever. Like all that stuff's changed. Do you know what I mean? Like, I used to love that independence of like
that having your own sort of this I had to build. So when my second was born, when we found out second was born, we had to, because I was working in his room, or what is his room now, so I had to like build like a little cabin, like a little outdoor office, and that's been such a nice have that like. Okay, I'm going home and I'm in dad mode. When I'm here, I'm in work mode. They still come in or knock on the door every now and again and like mess around. But it's still nice to have that, just that bit of like of a gap between work mode and home time. It's only like I literally step out of the house like this, like 5 steps. But it's just nice to have that little separation. This is my space essentially.
Yeah, man. How's this year looking for you anyway? By the way,
it's good. So I'm shooting 23 in total, which is the number I need to hit. And if I can take some stuff on for like maybe September, like sort of the end of the year. But it's not a need to. It's like if it's a good inquiry, it's a good wedding, then I can take it on. But my wife is like, you're not allowed to book anything in the summer. The summer's booked out. We're not touching that. So if something good happens kind of later in the year, then I can take it on. But yeah, I'm essentially fully booked. So yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it's
you deserve to be, man. Your work is
Thank you.
honestly, is really, really beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It really means a lot coming from you. So thank you.
Yeah, man. It is like when I see it, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, man. I remember that time though. I'm going to wrap this up in a minute, but I'm going to have to talk about it because we were talking about big loud weddings, and I remember that time when I lost my shit when I saw Burna Boy on your Instagram.
Oh yeah,
did that wedding at Northbrook Park.
Yeah, that was mad.
That's pretty. Like, I was just like, because first I saw it and I was just like, that Burna Boy, and I was just like, shit, it's Burna Boy. Like, you know, he was coming. Like, did he make it about himself? I feel like
no, he didn't actually.
He didn't.
You know, he actually
felt like
really low
he's
key.
a person that would do, but
yeah. So my perception of him has changed a lot recently versus because at the wedding he was really cool. So he didn't really shop. So basically, the bride works with him. So
okay.
And so the bride I know from one of my best mates, he grew up with him and they went to the same boarding school. And so his sister works with him and she booked me for a wedding. And so got really well with him, but he didn't turn up till the evening.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want the day to be, because as soon as he turned up, everyone just kind of swarmed him. It's Burna Boy's here. So he waited till like late in the evening. All the main bits were done, but it was so cool, man. Like I can't remember the song they played. I can't remember the song now, but just when it was like,
I saw that the video,
Stampin'.
the BTS or something, Stampin', and I love that.
Yeah, I can't remember what was cool, but it was so cool. Like the energy just changed. You like, okay, he's coming here. He's here now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really, really great moment. I'm actually photographing her sister in April. I don't know if he'll be there because it's a bit more of a low key day. So we'll see. But yeah,
well, his sister.
No, so that bride's sister.
Oh,
because he's a family friend. I don't know if he'll turn up to that one as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was insane. I was just like, okay, she didn't tell me that he was going to turn up. So I was just like, okay, Burna Boy's here. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's take some photos of him. His bodyguards were trying to like stop me as well from getting too close. So it's like, mate, I need to take pictures of him. He's here. Like this.
Yeah, and he's a guest. Story. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, man. I would have been, you know what, like I don't really get excited by like celebs, like actors, actresses and all that stuff. They like, but I can turn into a right little fangirl when it comes to like musicians and like sports personalities, man. Like,
yeah, I feel like, as you know, they've not that actors don't have to work hard, obviously, but I feel like it's different with. So for me, someone like Anthony Joshua, meeting him I would have to be like really like trying to keep my composure because I'm like, I can know how hard you've worked to get to where you are. And that I just I have so much respect for fighters in general.
Honestly, such a pleasure to chat to you, bro. Like, so good to have you on, man.
Yeah,
we went around everywhere. I like the fact that we went full circle back onto like the
just love that. Well led. You like kind of tied that knot off really nicely.
That was fluke, bro. That was fluke.
I love that. You shouldn't have said that. It would have been like just you planned it from the start.
I might cut this bit off at the end of the podcast.
No one
know. Everyone be like, wow, it's really good. Bro. I'm really good at podcasting now. It's like bringing things back full circle.
I love that. No, this has been really fun. Thank you. It felt like I'm just hanging out with you. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to the Dotcast from NineDots. We'd love for your help to grow the NineDots podcast. So feel free to hit that like, drop us a comment, or share the podcast on any of the platforms that you use. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for the next Dotcast episode coming soon. And in the meantime, check out nine-dots.co if you want to find out more about membership, or you want to learn how NineDots can help you or your business achieve the goals that you want. Get in touch.